Romanus III was Byzantine emperor between 1028 to 1034. His wife was Zoe, the daughter of the previous emperor, Constantine VIII, whom Romanus had been forced to marry and abandon his first wife, Helena, for. Helena was forced to live the life of a nun. A history of Romanus's reign is given by Michael Psellus, who not only saw Romanus by sight, but actually spoke to him as well. Psellus says that Romanus, throughout his life, was an approachable and affable man, although towards the end of his life, due to suspicious circumstances, his personality changed drastically. Physically, Romanus was imposing, and at least had the impressive appearance of an emperor. Romanus held the philosopher emperor Marcus Aurelius in high regard, and he was an articulate orator, although Michael Psellus implies that Romanus was not as intelligent as the emperor liked to think he was. On becoming emperor, Romanus was aged 60 and Zoe in her late 40s. The emperor had ideas or delusions of producing sons to succeed him and therefore build a great dynasty that would go down in history. It seemed to escape his attention that Zoe had gone well past the age of childbearing at the time of their marriage. The imperial couple tried to conceive, with Romanus seeking the advice of doctors when, inevitably, no sons were forthcoming. Eventually, Romanus lost interest in Zoe, and the couple became increasingly hostile to each other as time went on. According to Michael Psellus, Zoe's growing animosity towards her husband worsened significantly as he severely restricted her access to the imperial finances. Inevitably, Zoe's eyes began to wander elsewhere, whilst Romanus himself was distracted with other matters, leading an unsuccessful campaign into Syria. As was the case with many Roman emperors, Eastern and Western, Romanus faced conspiracies, including from Theodora, Zoe's sister. But it would be Zoe, who hated Theodora, that would bring about Romanus's downfall in 1034. Zoe's wandering eye had fallen on a man named Michael, brother of a powerful eunuch named John the Orphanatrophus. John was described by Michael Psellus as being endowed with an extremely active and ingenious mind, who had been well respected by the great emperor Basil II the Bulgar Slayer. John's brother Michael was a handsome young man in his early 20s when he came to the attention of Zoe. Although a woman of more mature years, it seems that Zoe's sexual desires still burned strong, and she was almost instantly charmed by the young Michael. Zoe and Michael began an affair, which soon became common knowledge, as the two were caught in the act several times. Michael Psellus draws the somewhat obvious conclusion that Michael, far younger than Zoe, sensed an obvious opportunity to make a move for the imperial throne, when the Empress made her advances on him. As for Zoe, she was clearly in love with the dashing Michael, but the feelings were not reciprocated. Romanus was clearly not the most perceptive of men. Rumours circulated of this scandalous affair involving his wife, but it took the emperor more than a while to put two and two together. But even when it became obvious to Romanus, he turned a blind eye to the affair, despite the fact a union such as this was creating a dangerous rival for him. Instead, Romanus made Michael one of his intimate servants. On being informed of plots against him, the emperor questioned Michael, who denied any involvement and swore as such, which proved to be good enough for the emperor. Romanus also took pity on young Michael, who suffered from seizures caused by epilepsy, which the emperor had witnessed and caused him to sympathize with Michael. Whilst Romanus didn't have the makings of a great emperor and can be accused of being naive, as a man he clearly had some redeeming qualities. But in the brutal world of the Roman Empire, this meant very little, and the kindness he would show Michael came back to haunt him. Romanus III began to fall ill. His character changed from likable and friendly to harsh, causing him to have outbursts of furious rage, and he became increasingly paranoid. During Romanus's illness, Michael Psellus saw the emperor and described his condition vividly. According to Psellus, Romanus's face was completely swollen and had the colour of a man who had been dead for 3 days. Romanus's hair had fallen out, and it seems obvious that he was being poisoned, almost certainly on the orders of Zoe and Michael. Although Romanus's condition was weakening, the emperor's spirit hadn't been broken, and Romanus still consulted regularly with his doctors, hoping and expecting to be cured of whatever ailed him. However, his empress, now his deadly enemy, and her lover would soon finish Romanus off. Whilst the emperor was swimming, Romanus was attacked by men sent by Michael and Zoe, who plunged Romanus under water, holding him there until the damage had been done. After the assassins left, Romanus, still just about alive, was pulled out of the water. Zoe marched in and cast one look at her obviously dying husband. Without pity, she turned heel and departed, leaving Romanus to die a miserable death. She immediately married Michael, who became the new emperor as Michael IV.